Aloha and welcome back to another episode of Underdog Hockey Pod. Curtsy is out of town today. I will be the host. We'll bring him in for a side piece later on. I'm obviously Tyler. I'm feeling it this morning. Doing a morning podcast, getting it out there so you guys have some time to listen before the Stanley Cup Finals kick off. I just came in on a red eye. I got myself a Sunny Star breakfast and fucking gas station coffee in me here, and good to go. To my right here is Brad.
Yo, happy to be back.
And yeah, we'll just get right into it here. I think it's a little early, too early for beer.
Without Kurt here, it just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah, no sponsorship this
I
week.
don't think he'd take it very well. If we were drinking without him.
So, if you guys listen to the podcast, you'll notice we haven't had an episode for the past couple of weeks.
Been busy.
We've been really busy. We did do a podcast for round 2. We did a preview.
Yeah, we didn't do conference final.
We didn't do conference final. We did a preview for round 2. It never made it to air. We had some technical difficulties on.
Oh yeah, that sucked. I forgot about that.
We had a nice long hour.
Like an hour and 10 minutes,
of
and we captured like 22
material.
minutes of it.
And yeah, no, it was just brutal. So we didn't end up releasing that because I felt like it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a piece of pie.
We didn't really even get into the meat of it at the point where it cut off. So yeah, now we're here. Life's good.
Yeah, you just got back from vacation. I'm leaving in an hour or two.
Just got back from Maui. You're heading off to Whistler.
Kurt's on the road to Whistler.
Kurt's already gone to Whistler.
You couldn't wait to leave. I bet
No.
you Cass said, "You're not going. You're doing your super pod. We're going to Whistler."
I bet you that came up. Yeah. So, since we left you guys last, there's 2 teams standing. Boston Bruins out of the East, and
The Blue Notes.
St. Louis Blues have made their way out of the West. And God damn it, I'm pissed off because that should be Winnipeg right now.
No, they're a long forgotten thought now.
Could have been.
There were some Ehlers to Montreal rumors last week I was hearing about.
Yeah, it'll be.
I think Ehlers will move. That's a different subject. Scored a goal in the playoffs in 2 years. But
it'll be interesting to see how this offseason turns out. There's a lot of rumors kicking around. Obviously, you mentioned we were just talking here. You're talking about the Phil Kessel rumors that have been going around. Possible trade scenarios with Minnesota.
yeah, tricky one. I mean, LeBron was talking about yesterday how he's so far Kessel's probably leaning towards no. I mean, considering that he hasn't approved it and it's 48 hours. I mean, we don't really truly know how long he's been thinking about it, but longer it goes, better chance it's not going to happen for him.
Yeah.
Which is it's a good. I think. Oh, well, okay. So Minnesota would be absorbing Jack Johnson's horrible contract, who might be the worst analytical player in the NHL with all your fancy stats. But Zucker is a good player for Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm a fan of Jason Zucker. And if Pittsburgh can somehow swing it, that they can get rid of Jack Johnson or the Kessel trade, I think they'd be winning.
Yeah, I was reading that last night. Sitting in the airport waiting for the red eye, like I just mentioned. Yeah. No, I think I did the math on the contracts and stuff. If they had to bring in Victor Rask.
Everybody kind of evens out.
Yeah. The term is pretty similar all around for the 4 contracts.
Rask did shit all year. I think you remember he was in the Nino Niederreiter trade. El Nino went into witness protection program in the playoffs. Like he just was invisible. But Rask was terrible for Carolina. That's why they traded him. And then he was in Minnesota, and he was terrible there too.
Yeah, he's got to find the right situation there, and we'll see if that turns out. Moving on. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've been kind of following the World Championships because why not, right? Canada. I don't know. Did you see that yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it.
They tied the game with 4/10 of a second left. They were about to get eliminated by Switzerland, and then Mark Stone,
Stone Cold Stunner.
big old hands of stone, potted home the overtime winner. So they're off to the, I believe it's the semis now.
Yeah,
Final four. Yeah. So
then it's Russia.
don't see any reason why they can't. Yeah, Finland knocked off Sweden,
which is a huge matchup for them.
They probably had the most star-studded lineup outside of Russia.
Well, yeah,
in
Russia is fucking loaded because all their players are. That's what made Tarasenko. They're all gone.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
Keep
you up to date on that, but yeah, Russia definitely wants it this year.
Double AHF, like these tournaments, they don't matter to North America. I mean, how many players on Team Canada were like the fourth and fifth asks of their position?
Yeah,
like all the stars. Like I'm tired, guys. It's been a long year. You know, I got some surgery. I got a contract year. You know, whatever. A lot of guys said no. So guys like Troy Stetcher are on the team, who he's a good player, should not be on Team Canada.
No, not at all.
And so, I mean, it's good for him, good exposure and good experience. I mean, it helps his stock. But but teams like Finland, Sweden, and Russia, any of those European teams, it's a big deal for them. Like Finland, half their population watched the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Like 50% of them, like it's a big deal from the place. Sweden. Like I mean,
they're very invested in it.
Canada has the United States, and they have Finland, Sweden. Like that's their arch rival.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But whenever you see Canada win, it kind of makes you proud.
Yeah.
So, we'll see though. Still a few days left in that tournament, and there's another tournament going on, Junior A hockey, WHL hockey, I should say. CHL hockey, that's the right word. Semifinals go today.
Did the Raiders they got bumped out, didn't they?
The Raiders got thumped. 0-3. They were the first team knocked out.
Oh, is it a series of 5?
No, it's a 4-team tournament.
Oh.
There's a host and then the winners of all 3 leagues. And they lost to the host and they lost to the winners of the Q and the O. So they're out, but
Hockey Canada did a feature on Gregor on the Raiders.
Oh no,
they did a feature
Gregor,
on if San Jose could call him up.
Yeah.
And they said that they would be able to call him up, but they just didn't.
Huh. He was their best performer, I think.
Remember when he had that breakaway? Like he just pulled away.
Yeah.
Just like he was like his skating like it was like dropping. Like he just exploded out of the neutral zone.
Yeah, he's gonna go places for sure.
When Hockey Canada has a feature on him, could they pull him up? From junior league. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the teams that lost for a second before we get into the winners.
Okay, we're going back to the NHL.
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's do it. Yeah.
San Jose.
Review of the conference finals here.
Okay, San Jose was pretty apparent that Lady Luck was trying to give them a Stanley Cup berth as best as they could.
Seemed that way, yeah.
The hand pass, the offside with Landeskog, which was the right call, was offside. There's a guy in the zone. The hand pass, which was just probably the most blown thing it's probably worse than the Pavelski thing, because it wouldn't have been a story if they didn't score 4 power play goals.
Yeah.
They just could have scored 2 and Vegas would still win the game. Nobody would give a shit.
Vegas's ineptness was the reason that became such a massive issue.
Yeah.
If they could have even kept it down to 2 or 3 and they still won the game, then it wouldn't have mattered. But they lost their whole lead and they lost.
But for San Jose, they just had nothing. Couture was the only guy battling. Him and Thornton's a good player, but he's 40. Burns is running out of gas because Carlson just couldn't play anymore. What are you looking for?
I just keep going. I'll
with San Jose, I mean, they have a really good core. They have Hurdle, Meyer, Kane, and Couture. Those are their big 4. And they have LeBanc as number 5. They're number 5 forward in their top 6. Now,
Jesus Christ, I finished my coffee already.
I'm talking about I'm talking about like going forward. That's their core. Like their window isn't closed. Like they've done that rebuild on the fly thing really well.
As long as these massive contracts don't come back to bite them. They've got Vlasic, who's getting up there. I think he's 33.
I think we have
They've got him locked up for like
players.
7 more years still, I think.
Yeah.
Burns, who's a big body, who could deteriorate any year.
He's 33.
He's like mid-30s now too. They've got him locked up till he's 40 at $8 million a season. And then they gave Couture an 8x8 contract.
Which is, I mean,
he's shown in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's such an intriguing player. Like he always, like he's up there with the best of them in scoring goals in the playoffs, but you just don't see him in the same light as the rest of them.
No, he's a sneaky underrated player.
Yeah, he's an underrated player.
He's definitely not underpaid, but he doesn't get the attention that.
No. Well, Elliot Friedman was talking about how he plays on a team with two very big personalities in Joe Thornton and Brent Burns, where they take a lot of the limelight away from a guy like Couture, and that might hurt his stock in that sense. But in actual stats, he is one of the best players in the playoffs, pound for pound. But with like what Friedman was talking about was with Pavelski, is like he's kind of a really underspoken story this year with Pavelski because he's 35 in July, still scores, he still plays because he's still a player, and with San Jose, like he made a good point where they want to keep a guy, they sign him 1 year out. They signed Vlasic 1 year out. They signed Couture 1 year out. They signed Brent Burns 1 year out. The guy that they went to free agency or went to right to the wire and left was Marleau because they didn't want to do the third year. Which, in retrospect, Toronto, that third year and that Marleau deal is kind of biting in the ass right now.
Yeah, they wish they didn't have him right now either.
You know,
so.
But with Pavelski is an interesting one. He is 35, and Marleau was a little older when he signed that deal, so it's different, but a little different. But he's not getting a 3-year deal from San Jose. A lot of these players who are like Edler want that 3-year deal with a no-move clause because of the expansion draft. Now, with Pavelski, I mean, he's a great player. He's an American. He's still a 35 goal guy. But I wouldn't be surprised. I always thought it was an on-swoop lock, or it was San Jose or nowhere, kind of like Thornton. But now I was getting the sense that maybe there is a chance that he moves on. Because, well, one, they might not be able to afford him. They got to get Meyer under contract. They got to start, turning the page over. Carlson just sent out a tweet saying pretty much bye.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I haven't read that yet.
Saying that thank you for the San Jose, blah, 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 for my time. I really enjoyed it. I'm gone. I don't know. I just think...
And we can get to that.
Well,
we haven't really discussed what the pitfall was. We're talking about San Jose right now.
Yeah.
We talked about how they got to the conference final with all these lucky bounces and quote-unquote bad calls and stuff like that. But why they didn't make it out of this round. Erik Karlsson's a very big reason why they didn't make it out of this round.
Yeah.
Thomas Hertl is a very big reason why they didn't make it out of this round.
Evander Kane had 1 goal in the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
Two goals?
I am a terrible skater. Okay, I'll say this out loud right now. I think I could probably beat Erik Karlsson in a foot race right now.
Yeah, put your skates on, Eric. We're going for a race. If I win, I get your next paycheck.
Only right now while you have no groin and can't stretch your leg out.
Yeah.
But holy crap! It was painful to watch him play hockey. I was watching some of those games.
It was sad.
Yeah.
Because he can't skate.
Yeah.
But he's still almost a point per game guy.
Yeah. He's a wizard with the puck in the offensive zone, and you know what?
It's just he has trouble getting it back.
Yeah. What comes with that is you take some risks. Sometimes you even make mistakes, and when he's healthy, he can easily make up for those mistakes.
Well, that's what his pitch. Your next question: will he ever be healthy ever again? 100%.
I'd say so. Yeah.
I mean, at 30 years old, he's probably going to require surgery.
Yeah, he might have a late start to his year next year.
He's been hurt
whatever
for
it
the last
is,
3
groin
months.
surgery.
Yeah, groin. And if you're coming off groin surgery, you can't do anything. Your entire core is going to be all messed up. Like he's not going to be able to touch a weight for 3 months.
But he's probably spent the last 3 months, like before the playoffs started, trying to rehab it.
Well, but that's what they've been
naturally,
doing. They've been trying to. They've been trying. They've probably tried every trick in the book for them to avoid him getting surgery, just to numb it, cortisone.
Because they knew they have this big playoff run coming.
Yeah, he just said, "Listen, guys, I'm going home. I gotta wait till you guys make the playoffs. I can't play anymore.
Yeah.
I'll play the All-Star game because it's in San Jose, but after that, I'm out.
Pretty much what he did.
So game 82, and then I'll play.
And it didn't get any better.
Didn't get any better. He got worse and worse and worse to a point where you saw him on the bench, and he just looked like he was just wincing in pain, like he was in so much discomfort. Then he couldn't even finish the playoffs. Yeah. He was in so much pain. In the biggest game of the year, that's how you truly know how much pain he was in. He couldn't play because Carlson's a gamer. He's not your wimpy little. You're kind of your. They have a bad rap. Europeans might be a little wimpy, but he is a gamer.
The biggest game of the year. 2 of their best forwards and their second best defenseman all couldn't dress.
Yeah. They were just banged up. Even if they squeezed out.
If they somehow. In a way, I'm glad they didn't make the finals because
I know
it would just be a landslide.
It would be a massacre.
Yeah.
Boston would just beat them up. They'd be out in 4 or 5.
Yeah. So, anyway, moving on from San Jose, that's going to be an interesting story. We'll follow it through the off season. There's going to be a lot of changes with that franchise. But, some re-signings that need to happen, some familiar faces that might move on. But, moving over to the East, Carolina. Do you have anything to say about Carolina?
Not a whole lot to talk about Carolina, because they didn't give you much to talk about in the conference final. No. So,
everybody's kind of made the funny remark about how the Isles swept Pittsburgh, and then the Isles got swept by Carolina, and Carolina got swept by Boston. So, everybody's predicting Boston gets swept by St. Louis just to complete.
I hope the trend continues.
Yeah.
We all do. The Boston area.
I don't think anybody wants to see a sweep in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's just too boring. You need to see some competition.
No, I think everyone wants at least 6 or 7 games.
Yeah. Game 7 overtime? We've seen a lot of those. Can we do it in the finals?
Yeah, I know, right? More overtime games. Those are always the best. When was the last time I saw Game 7 overtime?
Last time? Would have been round 2.
No, in Cup Final.
Oh, in the final? I don't know.
It's been a long time.
When's the last time?
Top of my head, I don't think there has been at least 20 years.
I don't think there's
was
been
it Brett Hall? Was Brett Hall Game 7?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's been a Game 7 even since Vancouver.
No, I don't think
2011.
So
that's going back 8 years now.
Anyways, Carolina. Well, okay, they were a fun, cute team to watch. Great for that franchise. Justin Williams, one of the greatest players, to ever play in the playoffs. And is this it for the 38-year-old? Who has 3 cups, Conn Smythe, and a bucket full of a bank account, which is a retirement fund now, and what has he got left to play for except just the love of the game?
Yeah,
I don't know. He might be done. I mean, Carolina. Carolina has a lot of work to do. We talk about San Jose. They got to re-sign Aho. They got to. Their GM doesn't have a contract. I don't. Really, Friedman was talking about how their entire staff is almost a free agent this season.
Oh, really?
They have to completely rebuild this team.
Well, we'll see if the owner opens up his checkbook or not.
He's made some profit, you'd hope, in the playoffs. So maybe might want to either cover some losses or put that back into the team.
Yeah.
But also Carolina, their work isn't done. They got to finally figure out which of their defensemen they're going to move.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Brett Pesce. There's been Pesce to Toronto rumors for last year. Dougie Hamilton's kind of a polarizing character.
Justin Falk's coming up UFA next year.
So, and out of those 3, the guy who'd probably want to trade would be Falk, considering he's the least term and he's the oldest, and It just makes the most sense. I mean, Brett Pesce and a Slavin pair is one of the more underrated pairings in the NHL, and they're both under they're affordable tickets.
Yeah.
You know, Justin Falk. I mean, what you would get for a 1 year out of a right shot power play quarterback, I don't know. Those kind of players are the most premium thing on the market. But they're probably going to be buying out Scott Darling.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
And they'll probably go with Mrazek and McElhinney, depending on how much money they want. And they got to find a second line center or a top six winger, one of the two. They got to find a top six forward. Because Nino went invisible, and Aho, and a goal from Martinook, and a goal from Jordan Stahl, and a goal from Lindholm, or Teravainen, and a goal from Justin Williams wasn't enough in the end. They scored, 3, 4, 5 goals in the conference final? Like, Boston just choked them out.
Yep, pretty much. Good defense, good goaltending wins championships, and you've seen that with both teams. I think we can get right into the Cup Final now.
Dive into it.
Obviously, 2 of the standout goalies from this year's playoffs are still sticking around.
Isn't that probably the most poetic? The best 2 goalies are probably left standing.
The best 2 performers, yeah. I wouldn't put them in top goalies in the league range, but the 2 who have shown up the best these playoffs in these last 5-6 weeks.
Yeah,
they're both still around.
I think that some people might think that you have Bergeron versus O'Reilly and whatever, but you have a Binnington and a Tuukka Rask, 2 goalies who have shown very few, like human-esque nights. Like most nights, they're just superhuman. If either one of them, shows a crack in their armor, that might do it for their team.
Yeah.
And I think Rask might be a little more susceptible to, like we've seen it in years past when he kind of crumbles a little bit. He's a very, he's kind of a hot-tempered guy. If Maroon gets in his kitchen or whatever. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to watching this series. I mean, I wasn't, nearly as invested in years past because I hate the Penguins and I found them boring to watch now. And Washington was fun because we went against the Golden Knights, but. It's just finals. This feels like this is the finals that belonged like in the 2012 era, when it was the Kings winning all the cups, the big brew, the
big bodied,
like the heavy teams
that can score and play defense.
Yeah, and
they're back.
They're back, and it's good to see that it's just not a all skill speed anymore. They're still just. These guys are going to beat the hell out of each other, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So as medieval as that sounds, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because these guys are just going to go hard, and there's going to be some. All the goals are going to come in the crease, ugly goals. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you have Tarasenko and Pasternak, 2 of the better right wingers in the game, and the two-way centers, and a good top 4 defense on each side. Both have size up and down. Both have youth. Both have speed. They're pretty mirrored.
They are very similar teams in their design.
Yeah, very similar.
They're big defense cores with a few mobile puck movers like Vince Dunn and Pietrangelo,
Parayko,
McAvoy, and Grzelcyk. But it's going to be a toss-up, really. I think such a close series. Each game
there's just so much that we can compare. There's not a whole lot to contrast. So you really only thing you have to really decipher who you think's going to win is just your gut feeling and maybe the rest factor. Too much rest is just 12 days off.
12 days. That's probably a record.
It's got to be up there. Well, Christ's sake, St. Louis has had 7 days off, and it feels like forever ago Boston was in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's going to be...
And they got to ramp it up from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Now, if any team's going to be able to do that, it's Boston.
Yeah. It's It'll be very interesting. The hitting will start soon, and that'll probably get everybody into the game real quick.
If I'm Butch Cassidy or if I'm
Just spend
Berube, I'm
spend
like,
the first 5 minutes
just
doing body checks.
don't even look at the puck, boys. Get into the game.
Yeah.
Get into the game.
Hit somebody.
Hit somebody. Get hit. Get the scrums going.
Dump
Wake
pucks
the
in
fuck
the
up.
corner. Run the guys over.
Because when the Islanders played against Carolina, and Carolina, played against Boston, and what all these teams that got out, how these long breaks, they just looked like they were like, "Was this game started yet?" And in the first period.
Yeah.
And the last 6 years, the team with the most rest going to the Cup Final lost. So we'll see if that trend continues in this year. I mean, we all hope it does. Everybody wants the Blues.
Yeah, but I don't know if it is as pronounced as if in the past it's been as pronounced of a layover.
Yeah, I don't know, but
because both teams
you
have
might have
such long rests.
Maybe it was 6 days compared to 4. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, like even 6 days, I think is probably stretching it for most rounds going into the finals.
I have no idea. That was just a stat I heard somebody saying on the air.
Yeah,
but
it could play a factor, but hopefully it won't play too much.
I hope it doesn't. I just want to. I want to see the better team win. I mean, obviously, I'd rather see Blues win, and they haven't been in the Cup Final since 1970, which probably the most famous picture of all time, Bobby Orr flying through the air, came from. Bobby Orr is not playing in this series.
Nope.
He might come watch.
He might.
But for 49 years, a long time not to be in the dance. I don't know.
It's poetic justice to have the next time you make the finals to be against the team that you faced in the last finals.
Every single player of those teams are in their 80s now.
They're dead. Yeah.
They're dead or in their 80s. But I'm happy for the Blues. We're all happy for them. We all hope that they continue this out because they I don't know if San Jose is making them look good, but those game 4, 5, and 6, especially 5 and 6, St. Louis said, "Okay, listen, that's enough. We're just gonna choke you out." They gave them nothing. They played them hard, and I just hope they do the same thing to Boston. Because Chara, he's hurting it too. He's getting old. Like he's 42. Like I've never seen a man that big. Like in my entire, we've all watched Chara for 20 years. I've never seen him get knocked off the puck more often than these playoffs. I think he's not as strong on his skates as he used to be, and guys are thicker now. They're stronger than they ever were, and I think they're finally. I wouldn't say physically because he can still beat anybody up, but guys can give him a good bump. And he didn't play the last game against Carolina, and we'll see if St. Louis is probably trying to re-aggravate whatever he had ailing him.
Yeah, well, whatever it was, he's had almost 2 full weeks off by the time puck drops on Monday.
But when you're 42, you don't spring back like you used to.
But 2 weeks, though.
2 weeks? I don't know if it's enough for a 42-year-old.
2 weeks of rehab going into... You just have to make it 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
You get 2 weeks off. You got to go hard for max 2 more weeks.
Yeah. But
max 7 more games, and
now,
then you got the summer.
If Chara can shut down Tarasenko, because he's going to be the left side defenseman going up against the right winger, I don't give St. Louis a chance in hell. If somehow Chara can shut down Tarasenko.
I don't think Tarasenko. He's been pretty quiet. He kind of came to life in the last couple games.
He played really well in the West Final. He kind of disappeared in the second round, but in the West Final, he started lighting it up when his coach called him out.
I don't think he's going to be a difference maker in this series. He could be.
Who's your X factor on both sides?
X factor. Throw me on the spot here. I'd say it'd be the second lines who can perform better out of the second lines.
Yeah,
the first lines
cancel each other out.
Should cancel each other out. You got Bergeron and O'Reilly, 2 premier two-way centers, both Selke finalists going at it with each other. I'm sure they're going to match up. And then it's like, who's been performing well? Krejci.
Krejci's been really good.
Marcus Johansson and Charlie Coyle, the two deadline pickups.
Yeah.
They've turned it up. And then on the other side, guys like Jaden Schwartz.
Yeah, there's always
He's had 2 hat tricks in these playoffs, and he's surpassed his goal totals from the regular season in these playoffs. Guys like that, like second, third liners, who you don't hear a lot of. But
Robert Thomas, Tyler Bozak, Alex Steen.
Sundqvist. He's all over the place.
He's just a grinder, just grinds.
Pittsburgh probably wishes they had him instead of whatever.
I think it was Ryan Reeves.
It was straight up for Reeves.
There was a first rounder in there,
and there was a draft pick.
Or it was like a late first round, like a 30th or whatever. Anyway. No, I think you're right. I mean, I think it's going to be the depth just going to probably decide the factor on either side. Probably there's going to be no one man. Okay, so like every round, every playoff here, every cup final, there's always a career that is made or died. Or it's somebody's coming out party. Now, like careers are cemented in cup finals. Like, or a playoff run. Like, who the hell was Rupe Hintz before these playoffs? Who the hell was Ville Leno before 2010 when he was Philadelphia against Chicago when he just lined it up and he did shit ever since? Like, just guys who can just find magic in a bottle for 7 games out of their entire life, and they can find. Or Max Talbot, Game 7,
right?
2 goals.
Yeah.
Like that's the greatest moment of his entire career. And after that, he scored a big contract with the Flyers, 5 years, like 2 something, and that set him up for life. Like that, that one game changed his entire life.
Yeah.
That was the only cup he ever won. Pretty sure. I don't think he wasn't with Pittsburgh the rest of those other 2. He was long gone by then. He's probably retired. Just like there's always careers that are made and died, and I'm just curious to see who's going to be the guy in this final. Maybe it's Binnington.
Could be.
He's the RFA this summer. What the hell do you pay him?
Yeah.
Win or lose.
He's played 30 regular season games. He's played probably close to 20.
He's 1 year out of UFA. 2 years out. 1 year. 1 year. He's 26.
1 year out.
Like, what the hell do you pay him?
Do you give him a 1 year show me deal?
And then you just have to pay him Carey Price money next year?
Yeah.
Or watch him walk?
Yeah. Or do you try to... Because another thing for them to look at this offseason is what the hell do you do with Jake Allen, who's obviously an NHL backup.
He is absolutely going to be tried. They're going to try to move him.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Who is going to take on a $4.3 million backup goalie?
This year and next. Jake Allen, who has been probably the Andre Pavlik That's a 900 save percentage. Like, he's always just did mediocre, great stretches, and then just abysmal stretches.
Yeah. Never should have given him that contract. I said that from the minute
they never had. They didn't have a choice at the time.
Yeah. They
had to pay somebody, and he was the only guy.
Elliott.
Elliott's. I don't know what Elliott is. Elliott's a good backup. I wouldn't call him a starter. I don't know.
No, that's the issue they've had for a while. They had him. They had Hutton. They had Elliott.
Hutton went to Buffalo.
They had all these like halfway backups that kind of all just.
Well, Ray Ferraro calls Jacob Markstrom before his good second half a backup +2.
Yeah. Like
he's just a backup, just a little bit better than a backup, but not good enough to be your starter for 55, 60 games.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
And that's another thing to ask. Like, what do you do with Jake Allen? He only played 30 games this year.
Oh, he didn't even play half the season. Who needs a goalie at 4.3?
Or not Jake Allen, sorry. I was talking about Binnington.
Binnington. Okay, all right. So what do you do with Binnington? You can either, if you're going to give him money, I mean, his agent's like licking his chops right now.
Yeah.
Because if he gets that cup or he doesn't get that cup, he's still going to be getting a lot of money. But if he gets the cup, it's just going to help his cause.
Yeah.
Because in Binnington will have a statue made of him.
He'll have gone from starting the season in the minors.
Who was asked to go to the East Coast League. Yeah. And he said, eat shit, I'm not doing that. And then they sent him to Boston's farm team, I think.
I think so, yeah. That's what I heard.
And just came out of nowhere. Like, who the hell was Jordan Binnington? Nobody gave a shit. He was a minor leaguer, a glorified minor leaguer. At 26, if you're a 26-year-old minor leaguer, you're probably just going to be a minor leaguer.
Yeah.
Goalie, defenseman, forward, I don't care what you are.
Conversely, he could be another Darling.
Could be another Darling. Could be another Hamburglar.
Yeah, just
Just-
get hot at the right time, get a contract, and then just
Hamburger's
vanish.
not even in the show anymore.
Yeah.
Like he's just like he had that 120 games, got in the show, and then he couldn't get half of that back.
And then he was part of the Duchesne trade.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're getting a little off track here.
that's what we do.
We're gonna turn it over to Kurt here. We're gonna splice in his little side take here for you, and then we'll come back on Underdog Hockey Pod.
All right, there, fellas. So I'm gonna keep this nice and short and sweet. Get right to the point with my analysis. With the Bruins and St. Louis series, we're seeing two major Mack trucks come into play. You've got a very physical defense score on both sides. You got teams that can run and gun and score. You got two teams that have respective pests in their lineup with Marchand and Perron. You got two hot goalies and two Kraus and Bennington. This was the perfect Stanley Cup matchup that we could ask for in this time. Long story short, my only real question I have for Boston is how much of a challenge that Carolina was, because St. Louis took down a very formidable San Jose Sharks that had a very strong decor and very solid forward line with the likes of Logan Couture, Pavelski, who was wounded unfortunately, Joe Thornton, Evander Kane, and company, who at the end of the day they really just were simply knocked off due to injuries and to choking in classic San Jose fashion. But they still took it to 6 games, so it's a tough series through and through. Carolina was not the most formidable foe, in my opinion, to take out the big bad bees. They really were met with just experience and their lack of experience. And that whole Eastern Conference really, at the end of the day, has proven that there were a lot of pretty surprisingly somewhat weaker teams that were able to sort of squeak through. That does include my Islanders, unfortunately, but I was still happy to see them perform. Long story short, this should be a very, very interesting matchup. I would really like to see the Blues finally win the Big Cup, but it wouldn't come much of a shocker if the Bruins did it. I think the Blues have an edge in the sense that they're able to box out their opponents, keep their shots to the outside, and play crazy physical with that decor that they have, which I feel like is going to be really the X factor, along with their depth scoring with such the likes of Oscar Sundqvist, David Perron, and Patrick Maroon. The big boys, I expect them to show up like Shen and O'Reilly, who have been awesome so far, but long story short, it's going to be a very, very tough series to call, but go Blues go. That's my analysis, so thanks, fellas.
All right. Back with you. That was some great
Analysis from Kurt.
insight from Kurt. How do you feel about that?
Well, Kurt said, keeping this short and sweet, like a lot. Long story short, he said it like 6 times in 2 minutes. No, I think Kurt is everything O'Reilly. I would not be surprised if I show up at he comes over to my house, or I show up at hockey or whatever, and he's wearing a Ryan O'Reilly shirt or something. Because if
he wears 90 in beer league now.
Does he really?
For O'Reilly,
oh my fuck.
Yeah. He changed his number.
30-year-old man idolizing a guy who's like almost the same age. Good player though. Great guy. Just
Beauty.
a great guy.
Beauty player.
No, with O'Reilly and Bergeron, I mean, that's going to be such a fun matchup because Bergeron, he's the best. Sorry, Kurt. Bergeron is the best at what he does. There's nobody does it better.
Did you vote on that post?
Was there a vote?
Was
there a poll on it? I didn't see
there
it.
wasn't a poll. There was a post though.
Okay, I thought you were talking about actual.
You're supposed
poll.
to leave a comment on who
who
you thought was the better center. Who
Bergeron
you'd rather have on your team right now?
Bergeron.
Yeah.
He's just the best.
I just don't. He's 33, 34, and he's still better.
He's just better.
He's
Patrice
Bergeron.
He has the pedigree.
Yeah.
You don't bet against experience and pedigree. You just don't.
The funny part about it was, I pulled up these stats the other day, and so he played almost 20 less games. He had more points. Their face-off percentages were identical, nearly identical, both 56.
Yeah, I want to know who's going to win the face-off battle.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's going to win?
That'll be something.
Because they're going
watch.
head-to-head.
They're head-to-head face-off. Who's going to fall below 50% in the finals here, and then plus 23 versus plus 22.
And those two guys, they know.
They care about that plus minus.
They care about that because they
a
know
lot
that.
of a lot of those fancy stats guys don't care about plus minus. Those
Yeah.
two guys,
Okay,
Bergeron.
all right.
and
We're talking
O'Reilly.
about careers that are made and broken. What if O'Reilly can dethrone Bergeron in these finals?
That could be some.
If he dethrones him as the best two-way
That could be
center,
some shit. That could be some shit. Not gonna lie.
and he wins the Stanley Cup, he is now the best two-way center. Like how can you bet it? He just took down the best. You are the best now.
Pressure's on Patrice.
Yeah, pressure's on, man.
But let's get over to some Tyler's overly tired, useless fun facts for the Stanley Cup Finals 2019. First fun fact. You're going to like this one. It's the first time two teams whose monikers start with the same letter have matched up since the Penguins and Predators matchup of 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bet you didn't know that. Now you do. Bruins and Blues. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens more often than I thought when I pulled it up. Okay, I'm tired. You said this one already, but last time the Blues made the finals was in 1970 against Boston.
49 years. I mean, do you have a stat on like the Stanley Cup appearances, the gap in between?
With the Bobby Orr. Huh?
Yeah. Is there a longer gap in the NHL of Cup final appearances? Toronto, maybe.
Toronto's
67?
Yeah, 67 to now.
They still haven't made the final since, right?
I don't think they've made the finals. No. Did they make the finals at one point?
Was it
No, they. I think it
They
was
got-
the high stick. It was the Kerry Fraser high stick. That was the semifinals. They lost to the Kings.
Yeah, I don't think I'm 1993.
90. Yeah.
And they had but 49 years. That means a bulk of their fan base is either experiencing it for the first time or was like 10 years old the last time they were in the finals.
Yeah.
And now all those fans have lived their life. They've had kids. Their kids are in fucking college now.
They're retirees.
They're retirees, and they're finally going to be like, this might be the last Stanley Cup final I watch before I die. Like, this is it. Like, I'm in my mid-60s, 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. Last two I got here. Boston's present roster has 8 Olympians on it.
Yeah.
8 guys who have played in the Olympics or the World Cup of Hockey. St. Louis has 5. So those are numbers.
Just give the
throwing
cup to
numbers
Boston.
out.
Just
Yeah.
give it to Boston.
More
already.
guys that have played in the Olympics. David Krejci, what's up? Backup goalie, the Jaro Halak.
I forgot about him.
Yeah. Fucking Boston has 2 Olympic goalies. What do you guys have, St. Louis?
Yeah. You got an overpaid backup and a glorified minor leaguer.
Who's gonna make the?
It's gonna make fucking
Gonna make
serious bank.
7-8 mil this offseason. And then looking at the roster compositions of these teams, one can not help but notice how many fucking Canadians are on the St. Louis Blues. They're the closest thing to Team Canada since Team Canada.
Yeah, you got Pietrangelo, Parayko,
Yep.
Ray Chen, Brian O'Reilly.
Even the one Swede they
Schwartz.
got, Steen was born in Winnipeg, when his dad was playing there. And he speaks with a Canadian accent.
Mm.
Probably not, but so they've got 20 on their roster, on their active roster, and
20 out of 23.
20 at like 25. You can hold a couple guys up, but
Tarasenko,
it's pretty high. Tarasenko and Barbashev are the lone Russians. There's the one Swede, Sundqvist.
Maroon's American.
Yeah, there's Maroon. There's 2 Americans, I think. All the
Canadian.
defensemen are Canadian. All the goalies are Canadian. And but yeah.
I guess that sums it up for them, doesn't it? Robert
Um,
Thomas, the Canadian.
Yep.
Bozak's Canadian.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And so the only team I could find in the last 10, 12 years that has that many Canadians or more was Anaheim. And I was too tired and lazy this morning to figure out They had like 26 or 27 guys
They had a lot.
on the roster, on the quote unquote playoff roster, but that included the Black Aces. So it was over 20 that were actual legit players during that run.
No, well, they had Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer, Ryan Getzlaff, Corey Perry, which were all part of the 2010.
Yeah, they got a lot
Like,
of
they had
Olympic talent. J.S. Shiger. But yeah, anyway. That does it for Tyler's useless facts for the Stanley Cup Finals 2019.
You need like a sound effect. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
We gotta work in some effects there.
Yeah.
Like some like radio cliche.
Need a
sound.
kazoo or something.
Yeah, kazoo.
Kazoo.
But yeah, no, I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, it's gonna be a bruising final. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. I don't think it's gonna be as boring as some people might think it's gonna be. Like, you could have a very entertaining 2-1 game.
Low scoring game. Yeah, I'm expecting low scoring hockey. I'm expecting a lot of hitting. I'm expecting interesting storylines to develop early on.
Yeah.
That we can, talk about in our next podcast.
Just hopefully.
Let's just knock on wood and hope that this is interesting anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting it to be. Do you feel comfortable giving your picks right now?
Yeah. I've had a week to mull it over, so.
Yeah. Still got 3 days till the puck drops.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel?
Well, I feel like I've been wrong so many times in these playoffs, which I think a lot of people have been, a lot of pools. I feel like going with my gut, I should probably go the opposite so that I go against what I think. I mean, I think Boston's gonna take it. Like, I just think Boston's just so strong, and you don't want to bet. You don't bet against pet experience. It's hard betting against Chara and Bergeron and Pasternak and Marchand, but I don't want them to win so goddamn bad. You know, but I will say easy one, Blues and 6.
Blues and 6, easy one. All right. Well, that's good. I was worried you and I were going to say the same team. I felt like since...
I think Boston's going to take it, let me reiterate, but I'm betting on Blues.
Pick a team, goddammit.
I don't know. They're so damn similar.
Boston's going to win it, but I'm picking the Blues. That's what you just said.
I'm so conflicted.
I've had this feeling since probably about Game 6 of that Toronto series in the first round that Boston is a team of destiny this year. They just can't fail.
I know.
And I feel like it's just going to run right through the finals here, and I think they're going to finish it off in 6. I think it's going to be Boston in 6 for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned. That experience factor. They've been to the finals now. This is their 3rd finals appearance in the last 8 years.
Yep.
They've got a lot of core guys that have gone through both the previous 2 finals. Tuukka Rask, he's played in the final. He backed up when they won the cup. He played in, was it 15 against Chicago when they lost?
Well,
13 was it? 13?
People are talking about
15?
I know these cup appearances have been spanned over 8 years, but it's been the same core going to bat every single time for them. Can you call this a dynasty?
It's interesting,
or
for sure.
something close, maybe not a dynasty per se, but they've had a pretty dominating core for 10 years, close to 8, 9, 10 years, that have 3 cup appearances, and also, if they go 1 for 3, it might hurt them. But I guess it's been the same core going to bat for them every single time.
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna say I can't. Same thing. I can't bet against Boston. I just have this gut feeling that this is
the horrible gut feeling that Boston's gonna win.
Because
everybody hates Boston. Boston has given everybody a reason to hate them.
But they're such a good team, and you look at the construct of their roster, and you watch them play the games. But that being said, there's nothing against St. Louis. I think they're a very strong team. They've got a lot of depth, and they're, like we said, they're very similar makeup. But I just think Boston just has it.
I know.
I just think they have it this year, and that's the only reason. It's honestly a toss-up, but I think that's why I'm picking Boston.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's going to go 7 games. But
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants 7 games. You want more? We want to go right down the wire. But I think, like we talked about, it's going to be depth. It's going to be key injuries to key players. That's going to decide it, one way or the other. It's going to make it. Top lines don't win you series.
No.
It's depth that usually wins you series. It can lose you series, but it's depth that wins you series.
Yeah.
Depth. I mean, depth was what killed San Jose. Couture was scoring, but nobody else was.
Kurt, how do you feel about this?
Yo, once again, it's Kurt, and my pick for the Stanley Cup Final I have to go with. I really, really, really hope they can pull it off is the Blues when push comes to shove. My actual analysis of how they're going to pull it off, I really can't at this moment give you really an in-depth opinion, but other than the fact that the Blues are pretty effective at keeping teams on the outside, and I really feel like that they'll be effective in boxing out Boston's offense and just playing the body physically. Like at this point, Boston's actually finally met a team that can definitely match the physicality department in terms of the absolute bruising and throwing heavy hits, playing the body, crashing the net, etc. I'm really hoping the Blues can pull it off in 6, and an emphasis on the hopefully. There's a lot of good guys that I'd like to see win the cup on St. Louis, and to really have the miracle comeback season would be an absolute treat for the NHL. That's my opinion on that one.
Wow, I can't believe you just picked that.
Well, you know what, Kurt? He can say whatever he wants.
Okay.
He's just thinking about Mick Dreamboat, Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah. He's got Bennington's dick in his mouth.
He's all Bennington and all O'Reilly. It's all he talks about.
Just kidding, Kurt. Well, I mean, I don't know if we're just kidding.
He's top center. We're on with William Karlsson.
Yep. And Malkin's not in the top 10.
And neither is McKinnon.
No. Anyway, do you have anything you want to add here?
No. I think it's been a really fun playoffs. I'm actually really excited to be over with one way or the other so we can get onto the off season.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting off season. We'll give you an episode next week, probably hopefully halfway through the series. Hopefully it's not 3-0 at that point. And yeah.
How our previews of a series are either holding up or have completely fallen apart.
Yeah.
What we got, what we completely missed, what we got right, which is probably going to be none of it.
As podcasters, fingers crossed for some interesting storylines.
Yep.
Some great hockey, some injury news probably.
Yeah.
Not hoping for injuries, but something's going to happen.
Nobody's 100% right now anyways.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yep.
We should get back to our regular format next week. Everybody should be around, I'm guessing. You're not going away next week, are you?
No.
Yeah, so by next episode, we'll be back to the usual. For Kurt and Brad, this is Tyler from Underdog Hockey Pod, wrapping up. We'll see you later.
Been fun. Check it out. Check you later.